to another episode of the Sean Farrell podcast. I am Sean Farrell. God is great. All the time. All the time. God is great. Jesus Christ died. Yours again. Let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so I was gonna wait for a short minute to do this to talk about this story, but I'm not gonna wait. Decided that I'm not going to wait. Saw all this story while just scrolling through social media. California father pleads guilty to incest months after teen daughter dies by suicide. Stephen Chavez faces up to 3 years. That's it. 3 years. In prison, they would have to register as a sex offender for 20 years. A California father accused of incest involving his biological teenage daughter, who later died by suicide, will face up to 3 years in prison. Should spend the rest of his life in prison. Should spend the rest of his life in prison. You do that to your own daughter. Stephen Vincent Chavez pleaded guilty to felony incest and a misdemeanor providing alcohol to a minor. Ventura County District Attorney Eric Nasarenko, can't pronounce that name. Have trouble with complicated names. Announced on Monday, May 18th, prosecutor says Chavez's daughter, Makayla Rene Settles, 18. Makayla Rene Settles was staying with him at his home in Moore Park, California in July 2025. Oh, man. Pretty girl. Gone too soon. After a day of drinking at a family gathering, Chavez purchased additional alcohol for him. For him and his daughter to drink at home, prosecutor said. Chavez then, engaged in sexual intercourse with her. Settles died by suicide in December 2025. Chavez also admitted he took advantage of a position of trust and that the victim was particularly vulnerable. According to the district attorney, he now faces up to 3 years and be required to register as a sex offender for 20 years. Makayla placed her trust and well-being in the defendant's home. Makayla placed her trust and well-being in the defendant's care, moving from North Carolina to California to start a new life with him. Deputy District Attorney Tessa McCarty said in a statement, the defendant violated this trust and shattered the father-daughter relationship in an unimaginable way. Conduct for which prison is the only appropriate sentence. Settles' cousin claimed a GoFundMe page that the 18-year-old had moved to California just 2 days after the abuse occurred. Chavez was taken into custody following his guilty plea. This young lady was only 18 years old, had her a whole life ahead of her. And, your own father does that to you. And what makes it even more painful for her is, I don't think she got the justice that she deserved. 3 years in prison. That's it. 3 years in prison. You do that to your own daughter, he should be locked away in jail for life and throw away a key. Okay? Because his father's actions led to his daughter ending her life by suicide. Okay? And sad, heartbreaking. Makayla Rene Settles, 18. This young lady had her whole life ahead of her. And then a family member, her father, goes and does this. And that was just too much for her to take. Yeah, that was too much for her to take. And I guess there was just so much there that ending it hit all felt like the best option for her. She just couldn't deal with. She just couldn't deal with it. Yeah. So rest in peace, Makayla Rene Settles, 18. Way too young. Father's only going to jail for 3 years. She'll be locked up for her life. She'll be locked up for life and throw away a key. But 3 years in jail, 20 years as a sex offender. Nah. I don't think she got the justice that she deserves. Okay. Again, should have gone to jail for life. You do that to your own daughter. Okay. Yeah. So I just wonder what other victims of sexual assault think about how his story. Yeah. To the survivors who have survived sexual assault, I'm pretty sure this story is probably going to be a gut punch. Yeah. So again, 3 years is not enough. Okay, 3 years is not enough. Let me see. Yeah, so I'm reading it right here. She was at 18, okay, when she left North Carolina and moved to Moore Park in July 2025 to live with her father, Chavez. She was looking to build a new life, fresh start, planned to attend Moore Park College. 2 days later, she was hospitalized for a sexual assault. A kit confirmed the presence of Chavez's DNA. Chavez was arrested and pleaded not guilty. He was released on $250,000 bail. 5 months later, Settles died by suicide, according to her family. Okay, so this is from a earlier story. I just mentioned earlier that he's going to jail for only 3 years, and he's going to have to register for 20 years as a sexual assault or as a sex offender. Excuse me. So yeah. Settles' mother, Carolina Sandoval, expressed deep frustration. Based on the charges, the most he can get is 3 years in prison. 20 years as a registered sex offender. It just feels like, my daughter's life is only worth 3 years. Whew. She questioned the lack of harsher charges, stating he got her drunk, she was intoxicated, she was taken advantage of physically and mentally. So if that's not rape, I really don't know what is. Sandoval remembered her daughter as a sweet girl and a little entrepreneur who dreamed of becoming a architect. Okay. Let me read one more thing. No. X that out. Okay. And not only that, the family said despite the gravity of the situation, Chavez still has his passport and has not been restricted from international travel. Okay, Carolina Sandoval, again, if I butchered that last name, I'm sorry. Based on the charges, the most that he can get is 3 years and 20 years as a registered sex offender. I said until he's 40. In 20 years, this is all going to go away for him. And, they really couldn't really answer me. But they just kept saying based on the charges, that's the most he can get. The mom said. Then I said, why can't we do involuntary manslaughter? They said, based on the evidence, this is all we can charge. My daughter then asked, why can't we do charge for rape? So, I guess, this was before. This is before, she ended her life by suicide, the daughter. And they said, based on the evidence, this all we can charge. So I don't know what evidence they're talking about. Maybe what Makayla said, the day it happened. But at the end of the day, he got her drunk. Even if, he said, let's go to this room or let's go upstairs or whatever she said. And even if she did, she was intoxicated. She was taken advantage of physically and mentally. Okay, so if I don't know, so if that's not sexual assault, I really don't know what it is. Feels like my daughter's life is only worth 3 years. Okay. And so then I asked, after 3 years, after the 3 years, what? I said, so okay, he's a registered sex offender, but then what? Can he go golfing? They said, yeah. I said, okay, can he go on trips? They said, yeah. I said, do you understand my daughter clocks out of work and then now has to go to a gravesite to spend time with her sister? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So apparently that was the sister talking. Okay. Not Makayla. Okay. So apparently Makayla had a sister. Okay. That's a mistake on my part. Okay. So do you understand that my daughter, Makayla's sister, clocks out of work and then now has to go to a gravesite to spend time with her sister? And they really couldn't say anything. So it doesn't feel like justice. What's 3 years? I asked. Can't he do? If he doesn't get in trouble, can he get out early? They said, yeah. So what about 1.5 years if that? They asked if they took his passport away. They said no. So I said, okay, if he wanted to get on a plane and go out of the country, he can change his last name right now. They said, well, yeah, people do that. Like why we haven't taken away his passport. Why is he still out? I don't understand. I feel like the charges need to be changed because 3 years is absolutely ridiculous. Yes, it is. He changed my daughter forever. That day it happened. He called me from prison and I told him, I said, you killed my daughter. I don't know who I'm bringing back. Okay. I'm only going to read a little bit more because this is a very long-winded article. The mom went on to thank all the supporters who showed up at the courthouse and shared their stories. She wanted to be a architect. Makayla did. All the signs, all the stories that people told us, it's just the love was shown and we felt it as soon as we walked up. We all got a little emotional, and it's a moment we're never going to forget, and I will hold each and every one of them just dearly with me, throughout this whole thing, said Sandoval. So many moms came up to me and hugged me. I mean, they're crying just as hard as I am now. Like they are so now just invested in this and they want to see the change. Then to hear that the most he can get is 3 years, I'm like, God, so this can happen again and another little girl can end her life because of something that happened. Ugh. And it's just not fair, I hate that this happened to my daughter, but, at least let's make some changes, so that this can't stop. It happened so much, I can't lose count of the stories that I was told, she said. It's just the amount of women, girls, teenage girls, that go through this and either are told not to say anything or they're scared of saying anything. It's just insane. I am forever thankful for all the people that came today. The ones that shared their stories didn't have to tell me, but they did, and it meant a lot. Yeah. So prayers up for Makayla's mom, Makayla's family. The guy should have been in jail for a life. Okay, throw away, hate the key, but just not the case in this one. And anger, frustration, yeah. All right, that's it, and that's all for the Sean Farrell podcast. I am out of here. May God bless you all. Peace out.